Are you thinking about having brunch at Geordie's inside the historic Wrigley Mansion? Well, this video is for you then. I'm going to talk about what my experience was like, what surprised me, what I loved, and whether I would recommend you spending your money here. So follow along.
Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling?
All right, so let's get into it and talk all about Geordie's at the Wrigley Mansion because quite honestly, spoiler alert, this is totally one of my favorite brunches anywhere I have ever been to for brunch. If you were not familiar with what the Wrigley Mansion is, it is a mansion that was built by William Wrigley Jr. back in 1932 in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is in very close proximity to the Arizona Biltmore, which is one of my favorite resorts in that surrounding area. And he had built it for $1.2 million back in 1932, which obviously was a junk load of money back then. He actually built it for his wife, Ada, and it sits really high above Phoenix, giving these incredible views of the city and also of the mountains, which are just phenomenal. Mr. Wrigley absolutely adored the Arizona Biltmore, which he's got good taste because so do I. So he built the mansion a few minutes away. And today they are completely separate properties, but their histories are very closely connected. I had been visiting Arizona in that area, staying at the Arizona Biltmore, which I will do a whole review on its own in another video because it totally deserves that. One of my favorite resorts in that area. And during my time there, I, at the time, was a travel agency owner, and the business, leisure sales manager of Visit Phoenix, the area, had invited me and my husband, Mike, to this absolutely gorgeous brunch. So I want to talk a little bit about first impressions. We, again, were staying at the Biltmore. It was probably legit like a 2-minute drive. It's not necessarily close enough to walk depending on like the time of year, because when we were there, it was August. It was probably like 110 degrees. So it's not a place that you want to walk. Quite honestly, the parking, just even the parking lot, to walk from the parking lot up the hill to the restaurant was quite enough for me in 110 degree heat. One of the things that I really loved about the experience that I had there, and if you know me, you know that I am a huge foodie, but I'm also really driven by experiences. And this was quite an experience because when you do get to the mansion and you check in for your brunch, if your table is not ready, you're encouraged to explore the entire mansion while you're waiting for your table. Yes, like in bedrooms, upstairs, in the sitting rooms, in the bathrooms, beautiful staircases, incredible views from different areas of the house. And it is really a neat way. I mean, think about it. When you're starving for brunch or for dinner, whatever, you're hungry for, when you get to a restaurant and you actually have to sit and wait and all you're thinking about is wanting to eat, it's kind of annoying, right? So the fact that they allow you the time to walk through the entire mansion is really cool. So, I'm a history buff. Me and my husband, Mike, are history buffs. So it was a lot of fun to walk around through the mansion. One of my favorite hidden details from this is there is a former telephone operating room in the mansion, like the kind where someone sat and, put the lines into the different switchboards with the little thing on their ear. And inside of that telephone operating room, it's covered with authentic Wrigley's gum foil sheets. I kid you not. Remember when you would open up the little pieces of the Wrigley gum and you would have the tin foil, the foil-like wrapper? This room is covered in those wrappers. So I thought that was a really neat piece. And again, if you're a history buff, just being able to walk through the mansion and see the different things in the areas, that was like, I could have left without even doing brunch. I love to do tours of historic places. So just that alone was so awesome, and it's free. And if you go to the bar, you're even allowed to walk around with like a mimosa while you're doing it. It's a pretty cool concept. So after that, and our table was ready, we were seated, we received our menu, and I'm not quite sure what the pricing is currently. I don't really like to say that in a video because, pricing can always change. So I will say, for what we received the day we went, it was so worth the price because you do get a menu and you do get to order off of the menu. The variety was incredible. My husband had, I believe, Eggs Benedict. I had steak and eggs. We had the most delicious pastries ever, fresh baked muffins and pastries and breads. Ooh, all the amazing things that are not good for my thighs and my hips. We also had fresh fruit, wonderful cappuccino or a latte I think I had. The portions were incredible. The food was so fresh. It just really blew me away for that type of experience to be that affordable. Now, for me, I am also sugar and dessert driven. So let me tell you about what they call the dessert room. The dessert room will blow your mind. It's a completely separate room from everything, and they have their desserts absolutely beautifully displayed throughout the area in the room. And it just really gives you a level of being a VIP when you do this brunch. You don't feel rushed in any sort of the way. You can take your time. But what I really, really enjoyed about this specific experience is that if you don't finish your dessert, and they have this giant dessert room, they actually encourage you to take your dessert home if you don't finish it. They give you this adorable blue bag. Do not leave the brunch without the Wrigley's blue bag or the Geordie's blue bag, because they bake their desserts fresh every day. They don't want to throw them out. They don't want to keep them for the next day. So they really push everyone if they do not eat the desserts. And listen, we did eat desserts, but we still were pushed to, hey, I bet you're going to want to eat some later on at night. Take some back to the hotel with you. And to be honest, it's what I ended up doing. I ended up taking the lemon cake back to the hotel, which, by the way, was the best lemon cake I've ever had in my life. I have not found another slice of lemon cake even remotely close to it. And what I did was, because we were on a work trip and we were going all week, when we went back to the hotel room, we took a nap, and I did something that I still think about doing every day since, and it's been almost 2 years. I legit stayed in bed eating my lemon cake while watching reruns of one of my favorite TV networks, Bravo, for all my reality friends out there. And I just watched reruns of Vanderpump Rules, which was amazing to lay in bed and eat cake, like just being so lazy and not caring. And it was honestly just what I needed. So I do want to mention too, the staff at Geordie's is incredible. They know what they're talking about. They are so friendly. Again, you don't ever feel rushed. We probably had some of the best attentive service without them like hovering over us at this restaurant. A celebrity fun fact that I'd like to talk about is I saw that Alice Cooper, the rock star Alice Cooper, recently renewed his wedding vows here, and it's really become quite a destination for weddings and special celebrations. There are a couple things I wish I had known before I went. I want to tell you, give yourself plenty of time to explore before or after brunch. Don't just show up for brunch thinking, you're going for your your meal, because like I said, you have as much time as you'd like to walk through the mansion. I would at least give yourself, at the very least, 30 minutes to walk through, and maybe even 45 minutes. Wear comfortable shoes because you'll be walking through the mansion. But for my friends that are like me, that love to get some good videos and photos of ourselves in the destination, you probably want to dress up a little bit because it is a fancier establishment. And again, the inside is absolutely breathtaking. It's so stunning. You're going to want to make sure to make a reservation in advance. This is not a place that you can just show up and hope to get in. They do sell out, so make sure you make that reservation. And again, save room for dessert. But if you don't save room for dessert, plan to take some back to your hotel like I did. Do not leave this brunch without that blue bag, guys. I am dead serious. So that's my recap. 2 thumbs up. If I had more than 2 thumbs, I would give it as many as I could, because this has easily become my most favorite brunch that I have been to date. So if you like this, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you're going to be looking for more Arizona experiences, definitely tune in, because I have a bunch of them that I'm going to be talking about coming up in the next few weeks.